Hey Rob,
Hello, Ger.
how's it going?
Good.
Good, now that we got the pleasantries out of the way. What's cracked since the last saw you?
We were just talking about Nintendo Direct. We wanted to kind of just follow up from the Switch 2 discussion last time
Yeah,
with the fact that there was a Direct.
yeah, we found Switch 2 lacking in your opinion. We
Yeah.
actually had 4 races of Mario Kart after that episode.
Yeah, and what was your take on that?
I echo your sentiments, to be honest. I really do feel like it was more of the same. Even from when you loaded that game up and I saw the text pop up on the left of the screen, I was looking at it going, this is just a reskin.
Mhm.
Then when we got to the character selection menu, I didn't feel like there was, as much as there's an enormous depth of characters, there's so many various ones, I wasn't sure what the advantages of each individual character was. That might have just been me, but I remember playing on the N64 and I knew if I'm Bowser and I bash into Yoshi, I'm blowing him off the course. I'm not sure I'm getting that same vibe out of this one. That might just have been me. We played 4 courses. Each level was a lot of fun. They felt very familiar. The music was very fun and very familiar, but it all just felt too familiar. If I didn't play my own version of Mario Kart Deluxe recently, you could have easily told me that was just a map on that game that you just haven't played it in a while. That's whatever cup that you just don't use. So I could easily have believed that they were the same game, which is a shame, and I totally understand what you were talking about. Since then, Nintendo Direct has happened. I spent a little bit of time looking online about that, and the one that stood out to me was Metroid Prime 4 because that's something that you had previously mentioned. The Pokemon Animal Crossing style world thing looks like an awful lot of fun if you have the time for that and you want real casual gaming. Outside of that, I'm not sure what was there. Like for me, again, I never had the GameCube, which I think is what Mario Galaxy was on.
No, there was the Wii actually.
Was that on the Wii? Right, well, in that case, I missed that game completely because I did have a Wii, but I didn't play it. So I have a slight interest in that, but again, not enough of a selling point for me to warrant buying a Switch 2.
Yeah, because for the moment, Mario Galaxy is on the Wii. It is playable on the Wii U. It's on the Switch already, the Switch 1 in the form of Mario 3D All-Stars, and now it'll be available on Switch 1 again and Switch 2, because I think they're releasing Galaxy 1 and 2 together as a pack.
I believe that's to be the case, yeah.
I think it's available on Switch 1 and 2.
Is this Skyrim? Is this just
yeah, it's kind of going that way a little bit, but if you haven't played Galaxy, I would strongly recommend it. It's one of the cornerstones of the 3D Mario games. It's an incredible game. It's really, really fun. I never played Galaxy 2, so see, my issue is I already played Galaxy on the Wii. I played it again on the Switch when the 3D All-Stars collection came out. And even though they're re-releasing it now with Galaxy 2, I don't think I want to pay €70 for the privilege of playing the same game again. I could play Galaxy 2, but at that point, I would be paying €70 just to play Galaxy 2, and I think it's a bit of a stretch.
And you'd realistically get Galaxy 2 from CEX as a second-hand copy, so cheaper on a console you already own. Yeah, and outside of that, I saw people talk about Fire Emblem, but I know nothing about that world.
Nor do I, and I have no interest either.
It's just outside of my scope, and I didn't see much else really being pushed.
I just thought Nintendo's marking of Mario's 40th anniversary was very odd, and it was very Nintendo in the worst possible way.
Nintendo, explain that.
Yeah, so I've been a Nintendo fan for as long as I can remember, and Nintendo were always a company of extremes. They either do something so well that they completely blow it out of the park, or they make just the most tone-deaf decisions you can imagine, and you've no idea why. For the Switch, I would say that was a really clever decision. Nintendo blew it out of the park, I would say, with the Switch.
In terms of a handheld that you can connect to your TV,
yeah,
they just options of playing it.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch was enormously successful, and it was a very solid console. And that was Nintendo kind of taking a gamble by merging their home console and handhelds together into one unit. That paid off.
It feels very when Steve Jobs went, your iPod,
exactly,
and your phone,
and here it is, and he's holding one device, right?
Yeah.
But what I like is that Nintendo have still kept up with the tradition of having a home console version of a game and the handheld version of the game. It's just that they're on the same system now. So for instance, on the Switch, you would have had Mario Odyssey, which would be your big, wide scope 3D Mario. Then you have Mario Brothers Wonder. Mario Brothers Wonder would have been the handheld Mario game if they had a separate handheld.
I see what you're saying.
And it's the same with, they had Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but then they also had Echoes of Wisdom. That would have been their handheld Zelda if they had a dedicated handheld console. But now they're all just coming out on the same console.
System. So you're saying that you really enjoy the fact that if you were a handheld gamer, you're still being catered to. If you're a console, through your big TV gamer, you're being catered to, but all through the one system. So within the same household, you only need the one device to satisfy two markets.
Yeah, you don't need two things anymore to do. You don't need two separate devices anymore to get all of your Nintendo stuff, which is amazing. But the point I was making is that they make some very clever decisions as a company, and then they make some very strange ones that make you scratch your head and think, why? And for the Mario 40th anniversary, in the direct that they just had, one of the things they talked about was that you can run in the Kyoto Marathon. There's some connection between the Kyoto Marathon and Nintendo's, or rather Mario's 40th anniversary. I thought, wow, this might speak to a fraction of a percent of the people watching this. It's just a very strange thing to announce.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it applies only to customers in Japan, and second of all, it applies only to customers in Japan who are actually fit and interested enough to run a marathon.
That's where I was going to mention that. How many hardcore gamers are watching Nintendo Direct and getting excited by the opportunity to go to Japan for a run?
Yeah, probably a vanishingly small percent.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I don't see the link.
It was just very odd to see them even talk about that. I was sitting there
thinking... That to me seems like a tweet.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree.
That could have been a YouTube clip, a short, a tweet. That could have been an email to those who subscribed up. You know, it seems like a strange thing to announce. And do you think they did enough justice to Mario's 40 years? Because I didn't see some sort of clip of the very first Mario and what's already happened. Did you watch Doctor Who? Ever watch Doctor Who?
No.
So there was a couple of scenes that you've seen in Doctor Who where they go through each individual Doctor, and then they released the idea of the next Doctor.
Right, that would have been cool for Mario.
Imagine they had shown the first Mario and a clip of each Mario throughout the game, jumping through the warp pipe, going up the pole, all these key little moments. Maybe he's dropping that penguin. Whatever he's doing, all the way along, and then boom, the last one is a Mario we haven't seen before. By the way, here's next year's game, or this is dropping in 28.
that would have generated some deserved conversation. That would have got people talking.
It would have been the marquee. That would have been the talking part, and everyone would have been saying, "Did you see Nintendo Direct?" It would have been a reason to watch. And as we touched on our previous episode with Metroid's not strong enough face to carry a franchise, in my opinion.
No.
And the closest that I can think of that they gave us was Pokemon, and even at that, it's not a traditional Pokemon game. It's an absolute side quest of a game. You're not training them, you're not battling them, you're hanging out and you're building a world with them, which is something very, very cool and very niche. And it's probably going to be a lot of fun, actually. But I don't think it was enough to drive this thing home. And on an anniversary year for your cornerstone, your key character, I really don't think they did enough to drive home Mario's importance to gaming.
Well, we needed something new that we haven't seen before. And unfortunately, from what I can recall, and people might correct me on this, you might correct me.
I hope people correct us on this.
Right, yeah. So if anyone out there who's listening realizes I'm saying something wrong, then let us know. We needed something new, which we didn't get. The announcements regarding Mario were they're re-releasing Galaxy 1 and 2, which are not new games. You can run in the Kyoto Marathon if you want. It might be Tokyo Marathon, actually.
Changes everything.
I always get Kyoto and Tokyo mixed up because they have the same letters. But they did announce the next Mario movie, or the Mario Galaxy movie, and I think that'll be really fun.
On that, I didn't watch the Mario movie.
Oh man, did you not?
I have not. I know the song Peaches.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, and you might think that's strange. I have a 3-year-old at home, so maybe I'm the perfect person to have watched this grow up as a Nintendo fan. It's probably around the 90-minute mark.
Yep.
It's probably ticking all the boxes. Maybe that's what a movie that I need to add to my list, and that we can come back to, and I'll tell you in a few weeks. Yeah, man, I watch it. It's great. They just told us Mario is 40 years old as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Do kids care about a 40-year-old character?
I suppose it's asking the same kind of question as, do kids still care about Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse? And the answer is yes.
Okay. That's a very fair point, and now I feel really dumb.
Although it's an interesting point I heard someone else make before, and it's this idea now that Mickey Mouse as a character, as with Minnie, they're brands and that's all. Because when is the last time you saw a film with Mickey Mouse in it?
No, it's there. What there is shows.
Okay.
Disney Plus would have shows. My kid watches Mickey Mouse Funhouse, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
10-15 minutes. They all have a lesson.
Yeah, okay.
There's a little adventure. You get introduced to Daisy and Clarabelle and Goofy, and Goofy's always in trouble, you know. But those things do exist, and that, I think, is in so many homes around the world right now getting broadcast to the kids. They know who Mickey Mouse is. And plus, we've sidetracked completely here, but anytime you load up Disney Plus and you want to find Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for your kid, there's an advertisement there for Spidey and Friends, Cinderella, Pocahontas, and after a while your kid is asking, who's that?
Yes.
They get to know the princesses, they get to know the characters. They want to see them on TikTok and whatever books out. Suddenly you're in a shop and they see a sticker book with that.
See a familiar face.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's how that spirals. So my daughter has never seen a lot of Disney movies. She has seen a lot of the ones that are friendly to her. She's never seen Toy Story. She could tell you Buzz Lightyear. She knows who Woody and Jessie are.
Yeah.
There are characters like that she has seen through crossover things. So that exists. My thing with Mario and announcing to the population that he's 40 years old, does it at some point become uncool? Like, you might load up a new Disney movie now and it'll say, sure, it's 50th year celebration or 60th year. Those kind of things happen. But I feel like when you tell something it's old is rarely cool for young kids until it comes cool again. You know, we do have this stuff in cycles. But to point out that Mario is old and offer us nothing really new, that irked me a bit. And if the only thing you're giving me is a movie, how much replay value is in that compared to if you gave me a game?
Yeah.
And I think Nintendo it was a console-driven business. It was supposed to be video game entertainment. You're not giving me that for your key cornerstone character. And not only that, you didn't announce anything. So you could have just had a brand new Hylian shield on screen and said 2032, and people would be excited.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm struggling to remember the announcements.
Yep.
And I only watched this the other day.
But on the topic of movies, I've had this idea for a while, and I think it'd be something fun to discuss. The whole concept of the cinematic universe is one that's been around for probably a decade or more, right? It was Marvel that popularized it first.
That's been around for
Yeah, I mean, the Marvel ones have been around. Okay, we'll say 10 to 15 years. The whole cinematic universe phenomenon has been.
We disagree completely on all of this, but go on.
We disagree on what?
I know I like it.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that fundamentally it bothers you, which we will absolutely get into.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that another time maybe, but the point I'm making now is Nintendo is perfectly positioned to make use of the cinematic universe in a novel way that no one else has done, at least to my knowledge, before. And get this, imagine how cool this would be. Nintendo smashed it a few years ago with the release of the Mario Brothers movie. It did very well, people loved it, and if you haven't seen it, absolutely do. It's great fun. Imagine a cinematic universe of Nintendo movies where each film in its own unique aesthetic style represents different IPs. So for instance, the Mario movie looks like your typical 3D animated Illumination film, which suited the tone of Mario very well. It's very safe. It's a kind of a bog standard family fun movie that looks like all the other animated movies from
entry level.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. It's the way you break in. You're not trying to be too different.
Okay.
And they did very well. Now, imagine a Yoshi movie, except it's done in a style where everything is made out of wool or everything is made out of paper craft.
Akin to like a Wallace and Gromit style
Exactly.
stop
Yeah.
motion or something
Exactly.
like that?
Imagine
Okay.
a stop motion. I should have said that. Yeah, you're right. A stop motion Yoshi movie where all the models are made out of little yarns of wool, just like Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U,
Right, okay.
or just like they're releasing a new Yoshi game for the Switch too. I think Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It's called. It looks really cute. It looks like a pop-up
Completely
coloring book.
forgot about this, by the way.
But
Right?
it
Okay.
looks cool. But that's what I like about the Yoshi games. Each one makes use of a different art style, and
Yeah.
that's kind
Sweet.
of its draw. So you could have a Yoshi movie where everything is made out of either papercraft or stop motion little balls of wool. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
You could have a live action Metroid, which I think would be suitable.
Okay.
Imagine a Studio Ghibli Zelda. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah,
Everybody
okay. I can
wants
see
a
that.
typical kind of an anime style Zelda movie. They're
Sure,
making
yeah.
a live action one in a few years, and I'm not really sure how that's going to go down, but everyone would be on board, I think, with a
The
Ghibli style
hardcore Zelda
Zelda.
fan base that want a movie would want this.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then you could have something akin to like not necessarily a Smash Bros movie, but imagine a movie a couple of years from now, once all the movies I've just talked about have had their day, having a film at the end of that combines all these different art styles into this crazy combination at the end.
Nintendo, are you listening? So, okay? So, what I'm picturing here, right? And I'm going to akin this as you
But
did.
I mean, take a sorry to interrupt you, but just to finish my point, do you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
You know that style where it's live
Yeah,
action
100%.
and animated
Yes, 100%.
cell
Yeah.
drawings.
Yeah.
Imagine that, except all different kinds of
And
animation
the
on the
modern
screen.
tech and Nintendo dollar behind it.
Yeah, it'd
Right.
be incredible.
If we were to take the MCU model, they did Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., they did Iron Man, roaring success.
Yeah.
They had Captain America First Avenger, which was a kind of a time PC movie. They went back, it was World War, and they brought that all the way forward. You do Thor, which is all kind of mystical and magical, and it's in space. And they go back, they do Iron Man 2, whatever. They introduced a few more characters, they crossed over, and they did all these different teases. The end of movies, at the end of one of the movies, you find one of the agents is going out to the desert, and there's Thor's hammer, and that's announcing the arrival of Thor.
Yeah, I remember.
They did all of these little teases along the way, which got the fan base already excited for the next one to come. And it's not until Avengers Assemble that or is it Avengers or Avengers Assemble? They have to come together to fight a common enemy. They don't know each other, but they learn pretty much in an instant that they are on the same team, and that's how they become a team. What I'm already picturing in your thing is you've got your Mario movie has already happened. They've announced a second one, and all it would kind of take in that one is a portal could open, and suddenly there's Ganon.
Yeah. That's you could think
And
of any stupid
Ganon
explanation under the sun.
Star,
Yeah,
and now
right. Okay.
Bowser's mad at him.
Yeah.
And Mario and the lads, they have to go off and they have to. You could do this. Could be the silliest thing in the world. Maybe they have to train, so you can throw in the sports montage of them playing tennis, of them playing soccer. Like
now we're talking.
You can reference all the things that have already existed.
Or playing football together, or
Kirby
whatever.
floats in and someone annoys Kirby, so he just inhales them, and now he's walking around as. You could do so much with this world.
But you see, I think what would be the unique draw with the Nintendo Cinematic Universe is that all the different art styles would be combined into one at the end. Because it's not just enough to have all the different characters from the different franchises coming together and they all look the same. They're all animated in the same style.
Question, so while they're in Mario's world, do they all look Mario style, or is it that Yoshi is still woolly in Mario's world, and is Link still in his art style in Mario's world? And then if they, say, took a warp pipe, for example, and ended up in Hyrule, do they all end up in Link's art style?
Right, yeah. I mean, imagine Mario being animated in a Ghibli style, or imagine Link as a stop-motion ball of wool or something.
You could end up incorporating so many little nods to things. So, like, because there's been so many incorporations of the Zelda franchise, you could end up finding Mario wearing one of the masks from Majora's Mask for whatever reason.
Well, in some of the original Zelda games, they had Mario characters in them. Like in the original Game Boy Link's Awakening, Mario is in that, or at least a character that looks very similar
to him. Yeah.
They've Goombas, I think, in that game as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you could do things where like Link looks at him and goes, "You look familiar," like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in 40 years," whatever it might be. Like, there's so much fun to be had in that idea, and ultimately, what I kind of am picturing is they battle. Maybe they do take down Ganon, take the star back, and maybe whatever Kirby is chasing. Ganon's trying to collect all of the power. Maybe it's Bowser, whoever. They're trying to collect all the different powers to unite to become the most powerful guy. And when they finally do take him down, maybe everyone lands their blow at the same time. And then they all look at each other and your credits are rolling and they're having a Smash Bros. Melee at the end just to decide who the ultimate fighter is.
Right.
There's so much stuff you can do with that. And maybe at the end of that, while they're all busy occupied fighting each other, someone else steps in and guess we got to go do it again. You could do an awful lot of that, and maybe Donkey Kong hasn't really forgiven Mario and he's throwing barrels at him. And there's so much fun to be out of that. I love that idea.
I think it'd be so cool. As a Nintendo fan, that's the cinematic universe I want. Because as you know, I was never really a fan of the Marvel stuff, and I'm very much alone in that.
You're not alone in that. I feel like from growing up watching the Marvel cartoons, because I like comic books as a medium. I never got into them too much outside of the Walking Dead books. I love those. The Boys and some of the key cornerstone books that have been told to me, like, you have to read these. I got a few of those. But for me, it was the 90s cartoons of Spider-Man, of Fantastic Four.
Batman as well, yes.
Not so much the Batman one. For me, I didn't really get into that one. For me, I saw the Iron Man cartoon, I saw Fantastic Four, I saw Spider-Man and X-Men. And when they would cross over into each other's shows, because that happened in the cartoons in the 90s.
Was it because Batman couldn't cross over with them because it was a DC Marvel thing?
Yeah, but there's definitely scenes. I think it's Spider-Man rocks up to the X-Mansion, and I'm like, this is what the Deadpool movie is doing now.
Yeah, right.
30 years later. So the same kid that grew up watching those is being serviced by this stuff now. And it's such a high budget, because when they tried to do this stuff previously with the X-Men movies, which is a podcast in itself, with the Fantastic Four movies, podcast in itself probably, they were deemed by society to just not really be cool. They weren't. Like Fantastic Four, they're friggin' nerds. They're really nerds, and it wasn't a strong launch pad. Whereas having Robert Downey Jr. be the playboy nerd who goes from, like, he's selling all these weapons to then feeling the repercussions of them used against him, to his life changing and his redemption arc across those stories for this absolute, he's the worst toxic masculine type man, to then turn around and he wants to literally, the quote is, he wants to be the shield around the earth. He wants to protect it because he knows big bads are coming and he's here to save them. And he wants an Iron Man suit for the world as such. His arc is just so good. That as a launching point for the MCU was incredible, because you've got this guy, and did you watch Iron Man movie? Did you ever watch it? At the very end, everyone is telling him, deny it. And
he comes out
and goes, I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
And it's boom, the paparazzi go ballistic, and they film the paparazzi in that room the same way you feel as an audience member. You're going, you get so excited for that. And for them to then continue to tease other movies along the way. And then when Nick Fury starts coming in, and these characters are cast so impeccably well, because Robert Downey Jr. was an actor who is quite famous in real life as having his own kind of problems and being problematic and maybe using some substances over the years, allegedly. For him to be cast in that role and to come across that charming and that likable, and he just pulls off the look. Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. A lot of people, originally, I believe in the comic books, Nick Fury is Caucasian, but no one is going to tell me Sam Jackson isn't a good Nick Fury. Like Chris Hemsworth with that build to play Thor with the long hair, perfect. They cast these characters so well. I know we'd seen Chris Evans previously, but for him to come back as Captain America, and the way they did the Captain America movie of him being, he was supposed to be a mascot until they realized that, this is The bravest little guy now suddenly is our super soldier, and he's effective. And then everything he knows in his life gets taken away from him, and he wakes up and the whole world is completely changed. But the problems are the same, they're just bigger, and it's scarier for him. And it's how does he fit in a guy who had it literally threw his shield at fellas, and now he's hanging out with a guy who can shoot laser beams from his hands and fly. Like, his journey is absolutely incredible as well. I loved the clash of characters, and when they come together and they finally assemble, that lifted me. And I feel like that is what's going to lift you in with Nintendo. I feel like if they could do that, if they can give you that Link movie, if they can do, and they can be multiple movies before you have to bring them together. You could have Link do a whole movie, and something could go wrong at the end, and then oh my god, sequel, a Link to the past. He has to go back and back to the future himself, and go left where he should have gone right, and avoid, like, there's so much stuff that you can do with the titles of these movies, with the IP that already exists, and we've never seen it. We've never seen what would happen if fire-breathing Dragon Lord Bowser rocked up elsewhere. There's a lot of fun to be had with that. And Mario rocks up in a whole different timeline, a whole different world, and everyone's like, what are you going to do by jumping fellas? Like there's gas to be had in that. I think you've nailed something. They have to do that, man.
It's something I'd really love to see. And
sorry about the monologue, I just went off.
No, but I'm thinking more about it. On paper, it sounds like an obviously good decision. But then, what do I know? I mean, I have no idea what it would actually take to get something like that off the ground. But you see, Nintendo, like I mentioned previously, they always make the strangest decisions, and sometimes sometimes they give you something you really didn't know you needed, but then you try it out and you think, oh, this is absolutely incredible. And then other times they give you something that is just as head scratching after you've tried it out as it was before. It's like they're very, very, very. They're 50% on the ball in a way you couldn't imagine, and they're 50% tone deaf in a way you couldn't imagine. And I'm just wondering how they're kind of walking a tightrope at the moment with their movies. I think they had a huge success with the Mario Bros. Movie. Now the Mario Galaxy movie is coming out. I'm sure that's going to be successful too. Maybe not as much as the first one, because the first one was new. This one, I don't know if it'll be different enough for people to get as excited about the first one. But the Zelda movie that's coming out, a live-action Zelda, I think is a really bad decision. Because there's just something about the Zelda universe that lends itself better to portrayal in a Ghibli art style. For instance, if Ganondorf, let's say, was in this live-action movie, how convincing is he going to look? He has green...
Nailed it.
His green skin, and I don't know if that'll come off very well on camera.
No, you've absolutely nailed the issue with that being live action for me, because the amount of times where I've watched a movie where in my experience with Zelda games, a lot of the time, Ganondorf, whatever, sometimes there's like a form shift, goes from one look to another.
Right.
And when you see that in movies, it's rarely done well.
It's just going to be a CGI mess.
It's just going to be a CGI mess. Yeah. Whereas, and the key and essential characters, supporting characters around Link, are so diverse. Did you watch Fallout, the Fallout show?
No.
Okay, so it's something that I worried about with Fallout. There are so many zombie, monstery type things in it. I don't know how well you're going to portray something like that. So when the show was coming out, I was very nervous about how they were going to portray Deathclaws and, you know, the undead and that kind of thing. They actually did an incredible job of that, right?
Yeah.
But Amazon, right? So like money was backing that. They did a great job of that. When it comes to that, how are you going to portray Goron? Like how?
Exactly. Like there's a certain degree of gritty realism with something like Fallout. It is set in the real world, but something like Zelda, it's a very fantastical world, full of strange creatures, and that's
and locations. Because no matter what you get from a movie, even if that movie is 3 hours long, and even if they cut that into 2, and you have to come back for the sequel, you're still not going to see all the locations you want to see. Like you're not going to be able to cover the expanse that is Hyrule, touch on some sort of Death Mountain. You have to see the castle. You're going to want to see village. You're going to want to see all of these different things. And how do they make each part of that journey important enough to culminate anywhere? By the time you're going to meet that character, it's going to be, all right, go save the princess there. There's going to be no, for me in a Zelda game, you have to go prove yourself. You go off and you collect some stuff and you have to level up along the way. It's going to be very hard to cram that into a few hours to make him big enough and bad enough to take on an enemy of that kind.
Well, I'm assuming that they're probably going to have a trilogy of Zelda movies planned. I don't think that they're just banking on it being a single standalone thing.
That's where I think they're going to have to go. And for me, the answer to this is always simple, right? If your character needs to collect a lot of stuff, then you don't tell them that at the start. You tell them they have to go get one, and at the end of the movie they realize, this is one of 7.
Yeah.
And that's how you tell your audience, you guys are coming back. The problem is, and it's like this with anything that's live action, whatever character you cast, by the time you get to the end of it, they look older.
Yeah, it's like the problem with Stranger Things now, right? They all look like 25, 30 years old now.
But yeah, and they're still supposed to be portraying younger folks. So how do you do that? Like for me, my favorite Zelda was Ocarina of Time. You cast a young Link, you cast an old Link. Happy bloody days. But in something like this, yeah, you'll get away with young Link, but if you get 3 movies in and you suddenly need to do some flashback scenes, it becomes really difficult. So I don't know what that looks like.
Even if they just went, if they didn't have to, they didn't want to go with live action, which I don't think they should, just make the film look like Wind Waker.
Yes.
If they went with a cel-shaded look.
Do any art style, anything that isn't live action, because then you're not dependent on the physicality of these characters and the franchise can last. The problem is going to be when the characters age out of the role. Like nobody wants to see this older character until they do. When Logan came out and we actually got to see an old man Hugh Jackman. If that was the first in the franchise, no one would have cared as much. But the fact we saw Hugh Jackman age with this role, takes a break from it for a while, and then he plays old version. I would love to see Link for a while, and then that actor takes a break and he comes back and he's an older Link.
That'd be cool, actually,
And he's put the weapons down and he's retired, and now he has to go fetch them. Maybe they've been gifted off, he's loaned them out to other people or whatever. Maybe he has to go back to the Zora and say, look, friggin' need it, dude. And they go, while you're there, take care of this thing for us. And you've got this battle-weary guy and his shield is all dinged up. That kind of thing, I could absolutely see that playing out. But I don't know how they launch this universe, if they're to do it the way we want them to do it. Basically, they have to hire us, right? Because we'll figure it out.
This is just like a really intricate, elaborate job application. So.
Yes.
Nintendo boys, if you're listening, we're ready to start earning money.
I really do think that there's something to this, because there's an absolute wealth and depth and fun to be had with these things. But if you were to actually take each world individually, there's so much peril at stake. And the thing with Nintendo is, most of the time, the bad guys are just kind of dumb when it comes to like the weapon and the power they have, and they don't use it the best way. But if you take any of the star, imagine Bowser gets the star and Mario always defeats him. Ganondorf with that.
That's a really cool idea,
right?
Yeah,
he's going to
go Bowser with the Triforce,
right?
Yeah,
you take one and you go, you've been looking at this too close. I've stepped back from this thing. There's a wider picture here.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about you could split time. Now there's a rift, and so imagine this is where Mario has to go to these other places with Peach in tow, who's she can do the damsel in distress thing, and Luigi's falling down or whatever, but he has to go convince Donkey Kong, come with us, and he's bringing Diddy, and they have to go, Diddy Kong. He's bringing, that's just Diddy Kong. And they have to go rock up to Hyrule because they've been told about, like, you have to, this is it, you have to pick one cornerstone character who can have known of these other people around.
And who could that be?
And who is that? You need to have the sage, the wise person who can get them there as well and go, this is where you guys need to go. That is kind of key to blending those worlds.
I'm thinking how cool it would be if the good guys. So let's say Mario, Link, Samus, Kirby,
Donkey Kong.
Pit from Kid Icarus, Donkey Kong as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Going up against Ganondorf and a highly trained army of Omega Metroids or something.
Oh yeah.
Just that's the cinematic universe I want.
There is an awful lot of that, and like, imagine Mario. Like, I don't know if you've seen that scene in the Avengers where Chris Evans Captain America finally says Avengers Assemble, and the portals all open and the armies come out and all the rest of it. Imagine that's Mario, but the portals open and it's just a load of Koopas and Goombas and stuff that all need to come together and they have to take down this big bad. We're putting our stuff aside. I don't like you, but I can not like you later if we beat him or we're all gone. Like, we're wiping Nintendo off the map. Like, all our worlds will be destroyed. Like, there's so much fun in that. And what Nintendo can do in that, market the heck out of each of those toys in different art styles.
Right, yeah.
They become instant collectibles.
Yeah, it's a money printing machine.
And the video game of collecting your own team of Avengers as such would be, and going into these various battles, but maybe you can only bring 3 at a time, and here's you and your buddies, and you're all fighting to be Link. There is so much fun that could be had with this.
I agree.
I don't know what this podcast was about.
We went off on a tangent, which became the main
but
topic.
It was an awful lot of fun talking about all of this nonsense.
It's incredibly fun to just imagine what could be.
It is, isn't it? And I think a lot of this. So Nintendo Direct was found lacking.
Yep. Because everything we conjured in our heads was absolutely not found lacking.
Any one of those things would have been better than kind of what we got. It was, to be honest, I did find it lacking. I wasn't particularly excited about it when it was announced. Not that when it was announced, because I'm so far behind, but when I realized it was occurring, and then when I did look into it, I was like, nah. It was very. For me, it was definitely and utterly found lacking any substance to make me excited. And it's a shame. I'm still in a position where I don't want to buy the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, and I would say you're right.
And you bought the Nintendo Switch 2.
There isn't enough on it yet. It's only half formed, I would say. Wait until probably next year. Although if you're a Metroid fan like me, that's going to be coming out at the beginning of December, so I'm looking forward to that.
They gave you your date. They definitely heard the podcast. We haven't released yet.
They're listening out. We really matter to their marketing plans.
We do, yeah, that's it. They're listening straight onto us. They're actually going to clarify in a tweet later whether it's the Kyoto or the Tokyo Marathon as well. You agree, Nintendo Direct was found lacking?
Yeah, there wasn't enough in it for me personally to get really excited, but I did think it was kind of tone deaf, as I say, to even talk about a Mario 40th anniversary and not mention anything about what the next game is, because we got Odyssey in 2017. That's 8 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, we have not had a new, fully original 3D Mario since then. So
again, you're going back to Trump. You're going back to when Metroid was announced.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much.
It was when the Switch 1 just came out. See, that's why I keep talking about the Switch 1 as such an incredible console, because day one there was Breath of the Wild, and then by October, so it came out in March, and then by October, so whatever, 6-7 months later, you had Mario Odyssey. That's 2 huge hitters within the space of half a year.
And on top of that, you got your Mario Deluxe comes out on that console, your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, true, that came out as well.
You got the remaster of the original Pokemon games.
Yeah.
And you got new Pokemon games as well. So a lot of those boxes for the fans have been ticked.
I mean, people get Nintendo consoles for Mario and Zelda, pretty much, as far as I'm aware.
I'd add Pokemon to that as well.
Yeah, Pokemon as well. Yeah.
Those are the 3, and then there's this other group that buy it for the social aspect of getting the multiplayer games for having people over. There are people out there who don't buy for the solo campaign, but they're buying Mario Kart, they're buying the Smash Bros. Or equivalent, they're buying the tennis game, whatever the Wii Sports is of the world. They're buying those because it's something the family can do together. That exists in my world anyway. I know people who, do you want to call over and play this? And it's a tool, it's an excuse to gather.
Sure,
I loved Nights In with Wii Sports.
Yeah, right.
Do you know, it was great. Those were absolutely incredible. Like, I feel like gathering on the same couch and playing video games
There's nothing like it.
is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
It's gone.
But
There's
there
nothing like
was
it.
nothing like it.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we're going to leave it there for this episode.
Mhm.
And maybe next week we might talk about something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up.
All right,
Pick it up
cool.
next
So Nintendo Direct, absolutely found lacking. Please, Nintendo, hire us. We want to write you some movies, TV shows, and we will be your MCU.
Be your new
NCU.
biggest moneymakers. Oh, the NCU.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, cool. I think we've just named the episode too. All right, Rob. Thanks, man.
Okay. See you next time.